The GLA is the starting point for Mercedes SUV ownership, and in this second generation H247 series form is as classy as you'd expect a premium C-segment family hatchbase crossover ought to be from the Stuttgart brand. Thorough engineering borrowed from the Mercedes A-Class means that there's plenty to like beyond the badge, primary selling points focusing upon quality and efficiency. The wide range includes everything from shopping versions to a plug-in hybrid, an off-road capable diesel derivative and track-tamed Mercedes AMG variants. Something for almost everyone then, from a car that very much suits its fashion-conscious segment.
The first generation GLA could easily be dismissed as an A-Class hatch with lifestyle ideas above its station, but this Mark II model is very different, and you feel that right from the get-go. If you're a graduate from the older design, then you'll immediately note the more commanding driving position, and then as you drive, it'll become obvious that the Mark I model's famously lumpy low-speed ride has at last been properly addressed. Both these things got fixed as part of a fundamental redesign based on the completely new MFA platform, which undergirds all current compact Mercedes models. But this Mark II GLA uses an updated version of it with increased rigidity and stiffness. And in a further difference over the current A-Class, all conventionally engined models get a properly sophisticated multi-link rear suspension setup, hence the better damping. Much else is new too, all the mainstream engines for a start, which include a Renault-derived 1.3-litre four-cylinder petrol unit mated to a 7-speed automatic gearbox and offered with 136 horsepower in the base GLA 180 or with 163 HP in the GLA 200 model that most customers prefer. The latter model manages decent WLTP efficiency figures, up to 42.8 mpg on the combined cycle and 151 grams per kilometre of CO2. All the other GLA variants use an 8-speed automatic transmission. Arguably the most interesting of those is the GLA 250e PHEV plug-in model we're trying here. Now, this mates the faster version of that 1.3-litre petrol unit to a 75 kilowatt electric motor, and that's powered by a 15.6 kilowatt-hour lithium-ion battery, and that's good for up to 37 miles of all-electric driving, if you don't take advantage, that is, of the healthy 218 HP system output. All the other GLA variants use 2-litre power plants of various sorts. There's a choice of 2 diesels, a front-driven GLA 200D with 150 horsepower and an all-wheel drive GLA 220D with 190 horsepower, a much improved 4MATIC system and an off-road engineering package too, and that adds a bit of extra soft road capability. 3 more performance-orientated petrol models also feature the 224 horsepower GLA 250, the 306 horsepower Mercedes AMG 35 4MATIC and the top wild 421 horsepower Mercedes AMG 45S 4MATIC Plus. If you want to know the difference between a crossover, basically a high-riding hatchback, and a proper purpose-designed SUV, then compare the first-generation GLA design, very definitely a crossover, with this Mark II model. This segment has now become so significant that half-hearted design just doesn't cut it anymore. So, like its premium rivals, this Mercedes is now every inch a proper compact SUV. As part of that transition, there have been some interesting dimensional changes. This car is actually now 40 millimetres shorter than before, but there's 30 mils more wheelbase length between the front and rear axles, so that really doesn't matter. And it's a considerable 104 millimetres taller. What will matter just as much to likely owners, though, is the fact that it's a considerably more complete and modern piece of design. The powerful shoulders of the bodywork blend with the coupe-like lines of the tapering side windows and a contoured panel profile. Roof rails and all-round protective cladding over the wheel arches and the lower sills emphasise the SUV vibe. And of course, to suit the current trend, you can have large wheels. Rim sizes range from 18 to 21 inches. We've got the 19-inch AMG 5 twin-spoke alloys here. At the front, where stylised power domes in the bonnet emphasise the self-assured demeanour, it's evident that this GLA is quite a bit wider than its predecessor, 30mm wider in fact, something emphasised by this prominent grille, which features single louvre strips flowing into the central star, and it'll have a background of twinkling silver pins, providing you avoid the base sports spec models. Move to the rear and you'll find LED light clusters presented in two parts, with the reflectors positioned separately in the bumper. Okay, time to check out the part of this car which Mercedes promises will really sell it to you, the interior. Sure enough, it really does feel very premium in here, with man-made leather-stitched seats, glossy piano black coated centre console that flows up into the dash, and curious tubular silver door grab handles. Plus, of course, as usual with a modern compact Mercedes, there's the usual pair of glitzy screens. Depending on the spec you choose, these will be either 7 or 10.25 inches in size, or as here, a combination of both. And these can be activated by prodding on the monitors, by various neat touchpads, or by the provided MBUX Hey Mercedes voice activated functionality. You sit much more commandingly than was the case with the previous generation model. Your windscreen perspective is now 140mm higher than it would be in an A-Class. And of course, as ever in a Mercedes, you're surrounded by premium touches, like these intricately fashioned double-stitched door cards and the circular silver jet engine style vents which decorate the dash and are an integral part of the classy ambient lighting system which brings the interior alive at night. Luxury downsizers will love it all. Time to take a seat in the rear. In one single design leap, this H247 series design has taken the GLA from near bottom to near top of its class in terms of space on offer. That's thanks to 116mm of extra legroom. Someone well over 6 foot tall could sit behind a similarly sized front passenger and still have leg space. Plus, there's plenty of room to slide your feet below the base of the chair in front. Finally, let's take a look in the boot, and that's accessed via a standard EasyPack powered tailgate that on this plusher variant can be activated with a wave of your foot beneath the bumper if you happen to be approaching your GLA laden down with child seats and paraphernalia. Once the hatch powers up, you'll find 435 litres of space. That's actually 46 litres less than was offered by the previous generation model, and 70 litres less than the equivalent BMW X1. We've got the GLA 250e PHEV variant here, which, due to underfloor battery placement, has even less room, 385 litres. Even here, though, something like a folded baby buggy should easily fit. And in summary, well, every compact SUV in this class claims to take the concept of sense and sensibility and add to it something of an adventurous streak. This GLA does that too, but with a bit of extra polish. We can see why you might like it.